Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. This is the Real Review 3000s, the Gospel According to Chris. This is episode 5. We've got Proper Jeremy as our main guest today. Proper, we'll get to you here in just a second. You can keep that mute button on. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, today we're going to have a great discussion about SC-38, Star Wars Reimagined. We're calling it the good, the bad, the WTF, as I will call it. And with us, like I said, we've got Proper Jeremy, we've got Mary Mayhem, and we have Shaun Stackhouse, the other half of the Real Review 3000. So what we're going to do is we'll start with Proper. Since you are the guest that got picked by the Wheel of Names, you can start by introducing your channel right now.
Hi, my name is Proper Jeremy. Currently, it's Proper Jenny for the next whatever days. I've had I don't know the exact day.
He's resigned.
June 29th. But yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm glad I got chosen by the wheel of picking, and I don't know how you did it. Like you threw a dart at a board.
No, we'll show you at the end of this. We're going to actually do it live this time.
It's the wheel of misfortune.
If you remember.
I know. It's always that way.
I don't know what it was.
It is a random name picker that spins a wheel and it decides, and you were the lucky one, or unlucky, depending on how you want to put it.
I am honored either way.
That's awesome, and we're glad to have you. So next up, Mary, go ahead and tell everybody about your channel, please.
Well, hi, everybody. I am Mary B. I am the Mistress of Mayhem, disruptor of the narrative, and official Whammon card holder. You can find me over my channel, Mary Mayhem. It's pretty easy to find, but I'll throw a link for myself and Proper up in the chat right now anyway, because, you know, reasons.
And then last but not least, one of the most important parts to the Real Review 3000, we have Shaun Stackhouse. Shaun Stackhouse, why don't you tell them about your other channel that you're a part of?
I am also part of Shaun Stackhouse Reacts. It's just been kind of dormant lately because I've been working for the Real Review 3000, but you know, it's basically pop culture and music and a lot of Queen stuff. That seems to be what everybody likes on that channel. But yeah, I kind of like what we're doing on the Real Review, to be honest.
That's great. I'm glad you like it. I like it. Okay, so today's discussion is about SC-38, Star Wars Reimagined. A video, basically, if you haven't seen it, it's where Obi-Wan and Darth Vader have their fight in the original Star Wars. This guy went back and reimagined it, added a lot more to it, a lot more flair. And basically, it's not in there right now, but I'll go back and I'll put it back in the description. And that's what we're talking about. So Jeremy, why don't you go ahead and discuss what you like about this video?
I like what they were going for, or what they were trying to do. Do I think they accomplished it entirely? Yeah, in some way. That was kind of a cool fight. After hearing, after talking with Jesse Mossman about it and how the fight choreography and how fencing and dueling works, you know, I sort of noticed what she was talking about, whereas they don't really aim for like the actual person, they aim for just the blades, and that's not how you really choreograph a fight. But I do like what they were trying to do. I like the emotion they were trying to convey. I think sometimes the transition between the original movie and the new additions that were added in there, it would have been nice if there was a more grainy 70s vibe to it to make it actually fit into the movie. I don't want to just insert that in as is.
No.
And anything that wasn't like, I think there was one line that wasn't James Earl Jones as Darth Vader, and I could kind of tell. Yeah. And I just wish that line was just out of there. It wasn't necessary. Like the last line he said, like, "Now you will die." Like, boo. Yeah. No, I don't care for that. That's no, it's unnecessary. Of course he knows he's gonna die. He just does it. Who Darth Vader is. He doesn't say, "Now you will die."
No, I know.
Cheesy as hell.
They have plenty of other movies that they could have taken lines from, that they could have inserted in here just to make it James Earl Jones. If they wanted to put something else that wasn't in the original script.
Mhm.
And they could have done that because you got 6 movies with James Earl Jones saying things. Well,
6,
no, 4. Sorry, 4.
5,
5 if you count
4.
Rogue One.
I count Rogue One.
Yeah, no, I do too. In fact, of all the things we've ever seen Darth Vader, Rogue One probably is the best Darth Vader we've seen, at least in action.
Mhm.
Not
Oh,
necessarily,
Yes.
not necessarily in the way it's acted. Just the scene we see is just excellent, which is why I like this. But I won't talk about it yet for me. Let's go ahead. And Mary, why don't you tell us what you like about this video?
I just loved it. Okay, first of all, I think we need to remember what we're watching here. Okay, this is a fan-made film,
Mhm.
right? We are not talking about a giant studio with a massive amount of money behind it. We're talking about a fan-made film or a fan-made cut of this scene with all of the love, passion, and heart that you could possibly put into something like this. And I think to judge it by the same standard that you would say Rogue One is ridiculous and silly, and I could not disagree with proper more.
That's not the merits which I'm judging it by.
It's
I am
just
judging it as it is the product that I see, not the heart and soul and the passion that they. No, I'm not judging I am not judging the heart and soul that has gone into it by the creators.
I sat here
At
with
all.
my mouth closed. I was very quiet while you talked, you jackhole. Misogyny.
Mansplaining.
Yes.
So I really loved this. I really loved this cut. I really felt like there was a lot of love and a lot of passion in it. I felt like it hit the emotional notes that it needed to hit. And I really, really just enjoyed it from head to toe, from top to bottom. Like his freaking cape caught on fire, guys. His freaking cape was on fire. He had like pulled the lightsaber and I was all like, whoa! And then it was like, my heart. And I was just completely and utterly into it. I loved it from beginning to end. And I don't sit there and nitpick like some people.
Well, we're gonna nitpick, but overall, it definitely, I agree with you. It's a very well done. Fan made is. It's difficult. You look at this and you wonder exactly how long they took to do this, because all of us do our own editing in videos, and all of us add things to our own videos, and we understand the limitations of some stuff. We understand how difficult it is. Mm-hmm. So when you see something like this, you appreciate how hard it is to get even the product the way he has it out. So, I mean, I completely understand. Anything else, Mary?
I mean, to be fair, I have only watched it probably a total of 3 or 4 times. Mm-hmm. Just because, you know, we're all super busy and we all tend to sort of move on as much as possible to the mm-hmm. next thing that is news and try to give our full focus to that. And to be honest, this was something I watched literally for the first time midstream, mm-hmm. right?
Yeah, I saw your reaction on
it. Yeah. So I felt like it was something that if I'd had more time and been more aware of, perhaps I would have watched it again a few times afterwards in the editing process. But as it was, like, I just cut it from the trailer or from the clip and just I had it and it was already in. So it wasn't exactly like it normally is when I normally edit. So I didn't see it as many times as I normally would have in the process. I haven't nitpicked it like some people.
I've only responded because my opinions have been criticized, but we can discuss it later. Mm-hmm. By the way.
So, Shaun, what do you like about this video?
I thought it was really, really cool. And, you know, the way that they use force pushes and the way that Obi-Wan is pushed into like a metal wall and he dents the wall. And, you know, like he cuts open one of the barrels and, like Mary said, it caught his cape on fire, you know, Darth Vader's cape on fire and stuff. That I thought that was really good. I think what they did would have been a great original Star Wars movie if technology would have allowed it.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, you know, because we've all been champions of, you know, well, since Disney took over Star Wars, we've all been like, where's the freaking lightsaber battle? You know, I mean, where are all the pyrotechnics? And this actually gave it to us more than actually Disney did. So,
Mm-hmm.
I just have like a couple of small issues and then one big issue, but that's about
Mm-hmm.
it. Overall, though, I think it's fantastic.
Nick Pickerson.
Well, you know, that's why they put this stuff out there. And I think they know that it's going to be done. But the fact that we are actually sitting here having a discussion about it should make this person who made this feel really good, because it makes you want to talk about it because of what it is and what it shows us. My thing about this video is I loved it. And I saw something that I believe George Lucas wanted to do. There was movement in this fight now. There wasn't movement in the original. We feel like we're in one spot. They're both old. They're both not crippled, but they can't move well. And there's been videos done about why Darth Vader isn't as nimble and things like that. But
he goes crazy when he hears a cymbal.
And something with the souped up
tempo. That's right.
Tempo. What did he say? Like a hi-hat or whatever?
A hi-hat.
I go crazy when I hear a
tempo.
cymbal
Hi-hat.
with a hi-hat with the souped up tempo. I'm on a roll. It's time to go solo. Okay, anyways, no.
Oh, I thought we were dancing. Sorry.
Okay. But I loved the movement in this. The fact that we see them start someplace, and then they have to move to get to where we see at the end, where Luke sees him. That was really important to me. That makes this fight a lot more physical. This is actually two people who have a history, that you can feel the history there. The way they cut in the "You Are My Brother," you know, and the you feel that this is it. This is them. This is their, we are going to figure this out now. And while it's unfair to judge the original movie to that standard because we didn't know everything yet, it's important that something like this was done, because now we get the feeling we wanted. After we know all this stuff, this gives us a lot more heart to this fight. This isn't about two people who are on different sides. These are two people who cared about each other, but have gone two different ways. And
not only that, you can literally see sort of there were like I noticed this as we were doing the reaction to it on my channel. Iron brought it out while we were watching it, and he was like, you know, they literally took the time to put the light and the dark, the blue and the red lightsabers into his eyes, right?
yes, yeah.
And I felt like that was very poignant, because there was a lot of love, a lot of passion thrown into this. And to be honest, I would not be opposed to a cut of the original movie with this in it. Now, of course, I wouldn't want the original to go away, right? Like,
No.
Just like I hate that you can't find the originals without all that CGI vomit in it everywhere. And thank you, Chris, for that. By the way, you're wonderful. But like, I wouldn't be opposed to owning a cut with this in it, like even as is, just because there's so much passion and so much love in it. And you can tell the difference, like between, say, someone like Rian Johnson, or even, and some people will get pissed at me for saying this because I know that we don't all agree on this, but even J.J. Abrams, like the level of passion and love that they put into a project like this, like say Star Wars Theory puts all of this love and passion into his stuff, right? You can tell that this was a labor of love, that this person agonized over this and did everything in their power to put out something that was genuinely heartfelt and exciting and riveting and gave you a new twist and a new turn. I would take a cut of this any day of the week, because the contrast between this and what Lucasfilm has been giving us, there's love in this. You can feel it. It radiates. The love that was the passion that burned for this project literally radiates off of the screen towards you, and you absorb it, and it touched me. I was on the verge of tears at the end of the first time I saw it. Like it was apparent. And I feel like that that's important for us to take note of. And so, for whatever nitpicky Nick over there is on about,
It's not just him.
That doesn't.
I'm going to do the same thing.
and I'm sure you'll shut me down with logic and facts, but there's a point where I'm willing to set certain things aside and say there was love here. And
I liked it for what it is. I liked what they were going for. Yeah. I loved the heart and passion and soul that they put into it. That's not what I'm arguing. Just because you put a lot of heart and soul into it doesn't mean it is without flaws, which is what I want to point out as constructive criticism to make it better. That is it.
Flaws.
That is all.
I'm willing to overlook them because there are not many. They're few and far between.
And it's clear that this was made by a Star Wars fan.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So we'll go into a little more why we love it, the things like that here. But let's go with things maybe we wish were better that we didn't like, or not so much didn't like, but the things we think could have been better. Proper, again, we'll start with you. Go ahead.
Okay, well, as I was saying earlier, some of the transitions, not all of them, I think when they cut the first time to back to Luke, Han, Leia, and Chewie, that was fine. Most of those cuts were fine. At the beginning, cutting to Alec Guinness in the movie versus the double, that's just what I'm going to call him, the body double. Mm-hmm. That was good. But there are a couple things that I kind of would have liked. I just wish they had integrated a more 70s, filter to it to make it look like this is in the movie, not like this is an obvious attachment to it. And that would have been pretty simple to do. Very simple. Just put a 70s grain on it. Yeah. I mean, that's it. If they tried it, didn't work, that's fine too. I mean, it's whatever. But I think, as I said before, that one line at the end is like, "You will die." And like, boo, no. Like, that just was like, just kind of ruined it for me a little bit. But not entirely at all. And there was a fire alarm. We
were talking about that before.
May I show you it? May I show
sure,
you
go,
it?
Go right ahead. Show it.
I think this might have been a fire alarm that they just sort of tried to change, but it just looks like it sticks out like a sore thumb. Here we go. Fire alarm.
That's not a fire alarm. It could
fire alarm. They have a fire alarm.
It could be any
Star Wars.
Listen, the Death Star.
The only reason I'm even looking at it is because, like, why else would you not like stare at it? Like, it's the thing that just pops out. Like, why would you have that? Like, bright red.
You got Obi-Wan looking.
By the way, the fact that I'm pointing this out just shows how good it is that I have to point out this.
I understand.
Thing.
You also picked out the one moment where Obi-Wan looks more like a Jawa than he looks like Obi-Wan.
Drunk.
Wait a minute. I have to look back at it.
Just look. He's short and he has the hood all the way over.
Yes, I didn't know Jawas could be. See,
any panel.
I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. It pops for a reason. I don't know why it didn't need to pop. It shouldn't have, but oh well.
You have a wall with nothing on it.
Well,
I don't know.
Proper drunk 3PO, who is obviously a droid, says it is not a fire alarm. So I think he would know.
Can drunk 3PO patch into that panel?
And Stig says, why would they not have a fire alarm? Well, maybe you need a fire alarm on.
They've had 2 explosions on these things. Of course, they need a fire alarm.
But then again, if there is a fire, all they have to do is open a door, and the vacuum of space would suck out all the oxygen,
along with all the people.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
millions of stormtroopers gave their lives for the Death Star.
I'll just call it I don't know, a callback to 2 seconds earlier when Darth Vader's arm was on fire. Now there's a fire alarm that they just destroyed.
There you go.
So maybe
Yeah.
they installed it just for Vader.
So is there anything
Probably.
else?
Just in case. They're everywhere on the Death Star.
Well, he's got all sorts of electronics. We probably should put these all over just in case
Palpatine
he goes on fire.
Palpatine's just like, we've spent way too much money on your bodysuit, buddy. We're gonna have to install all kinds of fire alarms.
Halon
Yes.
systems, all sorts of stuff.
It makes him feel safe. You have to have a fire extinguisher in every single room of the Death Star.
Warm and fuzzy feeling inside. Although I don't think Darth Vader has ever had a warm and fuzzy feeling inside.
He wanted
Is there-
Palpatine wanted to give Vader his safe space.
Okay, so anything else proper?
You nitpicker.
Mary's a meanie.
I know.
I am not.
I'd mute her, but she'd find me and kill me, so I'm not going to do that.
No,
You're more than welcome.
I will
Mm.
find you, and I will kill you.
hmm
She has a specific set of skills.
Yeah.
That's a different movie. So anything
Yeah.
else proper?
No, that was those are generally like my issues with it.
Okay.
I'm sure there's
Is that your WTF moment of this?
that was one.
What?
I'm sure there's something else that you both were talking about that
Mhm.
I'm probably gonna be like, holy crap. So I'm gonna let you say it.
Okay. Well, we'll go to
'Cause I
Mary first.
might know what it is,
Okay.
but I'm not gonna say it.
We'll go to Mary first. Mary, anything you wish were better about this?
Sure, I would say that if I'm being critical of it, and
And not critical. Just
if I'm being constructively
yes.
of it, I
Mhm.
would say that there were parts where the implanting of Obi-Wan's face onto the actor
Yeah.
a little smoother. Could
Yep.
have been a little smoother. I suppose that "No, you're going to die" could have been a little better. I suppose, of course, like anything, there's no such thing as a perfect piece of art, right? There are moments in it where it could have been a little better, where it could have been a little better rendered, where it could have looked a little more fluid. But overall, for me, the story and what was going on was far more poignant, and it sucked me in. And I was into what was going on enough that those little things I'd have to look for. And since I wasn't looking to hate it, as I never look to hate anything Star
No,
Wars.
I don't think there's anybody here that hates this.
No. But I mean, like, I think all of us going into Star Wars going with a certain set of blinders on, right? Like, I want to love it, and
Uh,
if it delivers to me on an emotional level, and if it delivers to me on a level that feels consistent with the rest of the universe and consistent with the love and passion that we expect to see for this kind of stuff, then the rest of the stuff is not going to even occur to me or even hit my radar until later when I'm literally looking for it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably one of the most guilty to it because, everybody knows who I like. Everybody knows the movies I like and don't like, and people get on me about it. And it is because I'm blind to...
I told you to eat glasses, man. That's your own fault.
I'm blind because I like Star Wars. So I look for the absolute best in everything I watch. And I see the flaws in it, but yeah. So, okay, Shaun, what do you think could have been better?
I would have to go with some of what Mary was saying when I was watching it, and the way that they kind of pasted Alec Guinness's face on the body double. Sometimes it just really looked out of place. And other times it was fine. Honestly, I know that they were recreating the movie or recreating part of the movie, but on scenes that they actually wrote for the extended scene, I would have much rather if they would have found somebody who kind of looked like Alec Guinness and just substituted him in instead of actually trying to like superimpose Alec's face on the other actor. Because that wouldn't have really taken me out of what it was, because I mean this isn't how the original movie is anyway. It would have still been cool, because you would have been like, oh, okay, well, this is just these are the new scenes, and this is the guy who's subbing for Alec.
Anything else before we get to the WTF moment, which I don't know if you want to talk about that or if you want me to talk about it, because we both saw it.
Yeah, I'll talk about it because
Okay.
I'm the one that brought it up to you.
No, I saw it beforehand. And
but I brought it up to you, and you're like, "Oh, wait, nobody else noticed that except for me."
know.
So
yeah, okay. So what I wish they would have done is not played with the commentary so much of the script. I'm with you proper on that. I think that they should have just stuck with all original stuff and not tried to clip somebody in there with an extra little line. There's plenty of lines that Darth Vader says in the movies that he's in. And you could have, I mean, we've seen it with presidents, with, celebrities where people will go and they'll clip little pieces and make a whole song out of it. It's possible to make your own line from actual dialogue that's already been done. So if they wanted to have done an original line, a new line added to this, they should have gone back and clipped it out, spliced it together, and I'm sure that it would have worked fine. And
you know what they should have done? They should have taken some of James Earl Jones' voice clips from The Lion King and processed it through like a Vader processor, and have him say, "One day this will all be yours." And
And the antelope eat the grass.
Exactly. Yes.
You ever seen the kind of remix of like Darth Vader and having just Mufasa lines after the fight?
No, I haven't. That sounds awesome.
You must take your place in the circle of life. You are my son, and the wonder. It just seems weird.
That would have been perfect for him to say to Obi-Wan, "You must take your place in the circle of life," then strike him down.
I mean, I have a question because there's a little bit inconsistent to me there. What you just said, Chris.
Which?
Like you said that you would have been content with allowing for them to essentially completely replaced Alec Guinness, right? Like just
no, I didn't say that. That was Shaun.
Shaun. Okay, there we go. Shaun, you said you would have been content with them completely replacing the character of Alec Guinness. I am sorry, I'm going to kill a dog. Knock it off! Sorry about that. But you're not okay with them doing a little bit of a dub-in that moment for that line? Like, I don't understand. Like, it seems like a little bit of a consistency fallacy here. Like,
well, the line didn't necessarily bother me, and I didn't say to replace Alec Guinness. I was saying to keep Alec Guinness in there, but for all the new scenes that they put in with that other guy, instead of kind of pasting his face on the new actor, just find somebody who kind of looks like him and just use him in those scenes without having to superimpose his face on him.
Like just the close-up shots.
Right.
But why are you okay with that for the Alec Guinness Obi-Wan character, but not okay for James Earl Jones?
Because Alec Guinness is dead.
And
there's no other option.
I will say that I prefer.
And with James Earl Jones, that one line did not sound like him.
That kind of an excuse for that line of thinking is not reasonable. It's completely unreasonable. You're talking about a fan-made film. Okay, so we're talking about someone. There's no way he was ever going to get James Earl Jones to come and dub this line.
I don't know about that. James Earl Jones is awesome.
No, that's not what we're saying at all. I'm just talking about. I'm thinking about it, not thinking about like the actual like circumstances behind. I'm just looking at what I am seeing and pointing out things that I don't necessarily like. And I think Shaun is doing the same thing. That's just what.
You'd be okay with a stand-in for Alec Guinness, but you're not okay with a small dub for Darth Vader?
It was unnecessary.
But he's also not a stand-in for Alec Guinness. I mean, most of it is Alec Guinness. These are just the shots.
It was placed on the table that would have been okay, but it's not okay for the Darth Vader character.
Because the line was unnecessary. That last line is what I personally have a problem with. I don't know about Shaun or Chris.
I would have been perfectly fine. And like I said, I like the fact that they superimposed Alec Guinness's face. I wanted that. That's the best you can do. That's what you got to do because it's still Alec Guinness. I do not think that you can have Alice. You heard me say it.
No, twice. Shaun did it and you did it.
I say Alec and
hilarious.
it comes out kind of like that. But Alec
Yeah.
Guinness is dead, but this is the only way you could do it. So that's what they did. And they should not have they shouldn't have left it without the superimposing of his face on it. And then what I said about the line for Darth Vader, I don't necessarily say that they shouldn't have put the line in. I do think you feel that it's way out of place, but I would have been okay if they had spliced old James Earl Jones lines like they can do, like they've done with presidents when they make them sing songs by going through and finding all the times they've said the words of the song and then splicing them together. They could have done that with James Earl Jones and gotten their line.
Yeah, but how much? I mean, how much of this was available to the person who made it, though?
I understand that we don't know those answers. I'm just saying that
unless this was made by Disney.
Well, and we'll get into that. We'll get into that. But I think that you know it. Okay, so I think though that the line didn't have to be there unless you're going to keep that voice, because it was very obvious that the voice changed. Now, whoever did that sounds very close. But that's like saying the guy who's playing Elton John in the Rocket Man movie sounds like Elton John. So when they go to the singing, it's so obvious and it takes you out of the way. When you go to Bohemian Rhapsody, they got a guy that sounds almost exactly like him. So there's certain things. Martell. Yeah, there's certain things there are certain things that take you out, even if it's just for a split second. And that line, I will agree with Proper. That line takes you out of the magic of this whole thing just for a split second, because you can hear that difference. You know Darth Vader's voice. And so the only thing I would have changed about that is go back, clip as many of those words out and try to manufacture your line if you're going to put it in there. I don't even know if it was necessary to put it in though.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I don't think they really needed to have that in there anyway.
I understand why they put it in there, because Darth Vader is absolutely going to make this the end. It's going to be him or Obi-Wan.
We all know how it ends.
Yes. So, and then the other thing, I don't dislike it. It just stuck with me. That is very different from the original cut, which is where when he slices through Obi-Wan, it actually cuts his robe. And then when it falls to the floor, it's all in one piece again. If you're going to do that, I think you could have clipped out that area where his robe is and show it in two pieces. You could have done that. I'm telling you,
well, that part never really made sense to me anyway from the original trilogy.
Well, no, but that's just how they could do it.
Well, I know, but I mean, in the original trilogy, the lightsaber just like touches his robe and poof, he's gone. But yeah, I think it would have been really cool if they would have, like you just said, Chris, clip that and just show it to where the sliced robe hit the floor.
Yeah. Okay. So, a WTF moment. Mary, you got one? Anything that just sat there and was like, oh my God. And it doesn't have to be anything that you're critical about. Was there a moment in this video you're like, holy crap, I can't believe they did that?
There was a moment. Yes. Okay. So yes, the part where he pulls the lightsaber out of his belt.
Yeah, that was
the moment where I realized what I was in for.
That was cool.
Yeah.
And that was the moment where I went, holy crap.
Yeah.
Literally, like I was like, holy cow, I was so excited because I realized that I was in for a force battle.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader here with Luke on the other side, like trying to get to the Millennium Falcon. And I realized what I was in for, and I was so excited. Everything in me just jumped up into my chest, and I was like, oh, and I was so sucked in. And every minute from there forward, I was 100% on board. I was in love. And that was my holy cow moment, was when I saw him go, vroom, and I was like, oh. So
I liked that. Yeah. I liked at the end when he grabs Obi-Wan's, it's just like zoom, and then the acknowledgement of he hears Obi-Wan say, "Run, Luke, run." That's that acknowledgement. Okay, this isn't over yet.
I noticed something.
Yes.
I just rewatched it. First off, I was wrong. It's not a fire alarm.
Uh-oh.
Luke shoots it and that he blasts the door.
Okay, so it's the exact same thing. It is a
Yep,
door
it is
panel?
the exact same thing.
Okay,
It is a door panel.
I can't remember.
I thought it was funny
That's
to
fine.
say that it was a fire extinguisher.
Nobody's jumping.
Fire alarm.
Nobody's jumping on you
it
about
kind
it.
of looked like one proper.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be forgiven for it.
Okay, so
but after that, I noticed that when Darth Vader is going towards the doors that are about to close, first off, his lightsaber still ignited, and there are stormtroopers behind him, and then it closes, and then the lightsaber is not ignited, and there are no stormtroopers.
Yeah, well, they may have turned around. They may have, but I did notice that too.
They are stormtroopers after all.
There was a very glaring editing snafu where he didn't have the lightsaber still lit as he turned around, because it was when the door closed. Any other WTF moments for you, proper?
It kind of looked like when he grabbed Obi-Wan's lightsaber, it just moved, but then it just kind of disappeared. Maybe he just put it on his belt very quickly, but I thought it just kind of disappeared. Let me just check it. Yeah. Wait, let me see. He takes it, and then he grabs it, and it just kind of, okay, he has it. All right, cool. Yeah. It matches, just like the colors are just very similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Shaun, the elephant in the room, please.
Well, before I get to that, one of the coolest moments for me is when Vader force pushes Obi-Wan into the wall, and then his lightsaber is stuck kind of near his head, and then he like force pulls it, and it like slices the wall, trying to cut off his head. I thought that was really, really well done.
Go ahead. I was going to say there's a game, I can't remember which one it is, where Darth Vader actually does throw his lightsaber, and it does that spin out and spin back, or I know what it is. It's in the Xbox Obi-Wan game. Obi-Wan does it actually.
I think you're thinking of Crocodile Dundee and his boomerang.
No, but it's actually used in Obi-Wan, the Xbox game. I love that game, and that is I saw that. I'm like, I've seen that before. That's awesome that they put it in here, because
wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm trying to process what all you just said. What is
Darth Vader takes his lightsaber and throws it at Obi-Wan. It gets impaled into the wall, and then it slices over. In the game for Xbox called Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan has a move where he can throw his lightsaber out, and it returns to him like that. Doesn't do the slice, but
the same thing happens in KOTOR.
Okay. You see, but I'm just saying, I love that they put that in this, because we don't see that in the movies at all.
Why is there an elephant in the room?
No, that's not it.
That's not it.
Oh,
No. I was just saying I liked that. Oh, no, that's not it.
No. You want to get to the elephant in the room?
Let's get to the elephant in the room, Shaun.
Okay.
This is something both him and I saw, and we're like, what the? You can't do that. You can't do that.
There are a couple of times in the lightsaber battle where Obi-Wan is using Palpatine's stabbing motion with the lightsaber, and that is not anything that we've ever seen a Jedi use before. And I haven't heard anybody critique that.
The only person other than Palpatine that has ever used that we know of, and it's even said in discussions about when Rey does it in The Force Awakens, she does it against Kylo. There's been thousands of discussions on this, or maybe not thousands, but lots of discussions about how that is Emperor Palpatine, and that's his move, and it's a signature move, because if you read into all the Jedis and stuff, their signature moves are explained, and his signature move is this stabbing motion, which the Jedi probably wouldn't use, because it is a very unethical and very dangerous move, because it puts you in a very bad position. But he does it to Yoda, where he does the spin forward. This is a particular move that Palpatine uses, and now all of a sudden the only other person has been Rey to use this, and that's why people thought that perhaps she was in some way related to Palpatine. But now all of a sudden we throw this in as something that Obi-Wan does. If anybody in this should have done it, it should have been Darth Vader, because that's who Palpatine was his master. So I see that, and I as soon as I saw that, I was like, what are they doing? That's not his move. That's not a Jedi move. That is Palpatine's move. What are we doing now by changing this? And I found it to be really disconcerting that they changed this, or they added that in. I'm trying to figure out what he was trying to imply here. If there was anything, or if he just thought it was a cool move, let's add it in. Then if you do that, why not give it to Darth Vader, the person who would logically use it, because he's learned from Palpatine. Did you guys notice that? Did you guys notice that?
Not at first.
No?
No.
I'm not sure. I'm trying to know where you're talking about specifically.
I think it was in the hallway.
Yeah, it's
a lot of it goes down
both times in the hallway, I think. The beginning of it, he goes and he literally does a stabbing forward motion.
Okay.
And
I'm seeing it now.
that is Palpatine's move. And that I was dumbfounded that
there was no precedent
no
for that era of movie for
never
Obi-Wan
seen
to
him
do it.
use that. We've never seen.
I'm going to be honest with you, because both times that I saw, and I think I saw it happen twice,
Mhm.
it just looks like, and you could call me ignorant to some extent, I suppose, because I don't know enough about fencing or even any particular. I could never look at a lightsaber style and point it out. Okay,
I can explain why it's dangerous after you're done.
I couldn't look at a lightsaber style and tell you specifically which one I'm looking at. Like I know of different ones. I know of Vapod and different things, but I couldn't look at it and tell you what it looked like if I saw it, right?
Yeah.
So I think it is possible here, and I'm not saying that I'm right here, because I'm not in the creator's head, and I'm not there, and I wasn't in charge of it, and I don't know exactly what they were shooting for, but it seemed really potentially just as if this were just someone fighting, and someone potentially inexperienced in terms of dueling had them fighting.
Well, that's possible. See,
they may not have even thought about it when they did it.
Exactly. But I noticed it. And my thought process here is and this is why in Star Wars.
Sorry about that.
You're fine. In Star Wars terms, this is why this is considered a dangerous move, and probably why Palpatine is one of the few people we've seen do it, because he is obviously a reckless person. We know that. It's all emotion. Everything goes into it. It's almost like a tennis player. That's why tennis players grunt, because they're putting all their effort into it. If you do that, theoretically, the idea is that another Jedi can force pull you forward as they put their lightsaber basically through your back. And it puts you in such a position that with the powers of the Force, a true Jedi can absolutely defeat you right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the only reason why Palpatine does it is because he believes he's stronger than any other Jedi. He believes
he has the lightning too.
Yes, there's that too. So there's factors why he does it. And again, I simply think that he just has, I guess the word would be ego. He has such an ego that he believes he can do it. And
I think it's just completely out of character for a Jedi to do.
Yeah, and I understand.
It's without honor, that type of thing.
I think I understand what you're saying, Mary, about how it just could be the people that they had doing this, the person they had doing this, and they tried to make it look good. Or maybe they thought, when he's here, he would try to do some sort of move to finish the battle.
Right.
But there's no precedent for Obi-Wan Kenobi being like that. Everything we see him when he fights, in all the other movies. And that's the thing. You do kind of have to judge this scene by all the other movies because there's precedent in the other movies on how people fight.
You like the other movies. I understand.
Exactly. So when you see something like this, and I don't expect everybody to know that that's his move, and maybe not everybody cares enough about The Force Awakens to have read stuff about how they try to tie Rey with Palpatine with that move. But, and here's the thing, I can even see it with Rey more than I could Obi-Wan because she's supposedly doesn't know enough about lightsaber fighting during that moment that she just tries something. She's in a fight for her life, whatever. And we're not going to go into the semantics of The Force Awakens and the problems with it, with the lightsaber battles and stuff. But with this particular one, it is. Go ahead.
If I wanted to give an in-universe excuse for them, right? And I do recognize that this is me sort of looking for a way around it because I tend to think that the reality of it is that this is just an inexperienced person who didn't catch what it is that you're catching and the information.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think so too.
What it could mean if I were to try to give this an in-world or an in-universe explanation, the only thing I can think is that we are talking about a Jedi who, as far as we know, canonically speaking, is out of practice and has been out of practice for what, 20 years? 18 years? Okay. He hasn't
as far as we know.
As far as we know, we have no reason to believe that, at least canonically speaking, that Obi-Wan has had more than just one or two little fights here and there within universe in almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So,
are you just talking about like Rebels? Like those are the only
Rebels does give us a couple of examples. I believe he fought Darth Maul again.
And he was old man Obi-Wan.
Yes, he was. That also wasn't like as recent as this particular scene either. Okay, we're still talking about several years difference. So I think if you're talking about an in-world excuse for it, and I don't think this requires an in-world excuse, I just think that this was a practical issue. But if you want an in-world excuse for it, you could say Obi-Wan is really, really, really out of practice. And he was up against Darth Vader and perhaps a little desperate.
And that is possible. I mean, I don't discount that. And I don't...
But on the other hand, though, I mean, the only reason that I noticed it and I had a kind of a slight issue with it is because if you look at, so if we would have only had the from episode 6 on, and they would have never done the prequels or Clone Wars or anything like that, that maybe this would have been a something that you would watch and you'd brush it off, be like, oh, okay. But since we did have the prequels, Obi-Wan made it seem like he was very much a stickler for the rules for the most part.
Yes, yeah.
This would not be something. I mean, I don't even think he would have done this even out of practice. I mean, that's like saying that. Okay, here's the thing. I guess a question that would have to be asked here is at the end, he basically puts his lightsaber up and he's not given up, but he now is said, I am going to let myself go to the Force. I'm going to, and I think that's why he goes to the Force the way he does and why he disappears is that he accepts it and he says, I'm going to let this happen right here because the moment is right. But let's say he's resigned to the fact that he knows he's going to lose this. Why be desperate?
Well, let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a moment of clarity in the middle of insanity?
Yeah. No, I've only had insanity.
No, I've had both. No. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes, and again, this is me. I recognize that I'm grasping at straws here, but I also think that there's some validity to what I'm saying. Sometimes you can find yourself in the middle of a very tumultuous situation, and you find yourself panicked one moment, and then something happens that brings you clarity in the middle of it. And I think that happens quite frequently with people, that we find ourselves panicked, stressed out, grasping at straws, doing whatever we can to try to survive that moment until something happens to resign us to it.
I agree with you 100%.
Proper. What do you think about this stabbing motion?
Out of touch, sure. Also, I remember, and I had to check it just in case I was misquoting, Luke saying that in Return of the Jedi that he can't kill his father, and Obi-Wan said that the Emperor has already won. So I think at that point he realized he was probably a little out of practice. Either that, or Darth Vader was just so powerful, he was just doing everything he could to try and kill him. However, knowing that he was out of practice, he couldn't do it himself.
So let's real quick go to this question. In Revenge of the Sith, this is the second, this particular one, it's the second time these two people have faced each other in a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Does Obi-Wan believe, and I believe Anakin believes it, but does Obi-Wan believe in Revenge of the Sith that Anakin or Darth Vader is actually more powerful and capable of destroying him?
He knows it.
Okay.
He was barely hanging on by a thread.
Okay, so there's the thing. The only thing that makes
in Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah.
He showed him mercy in some ways.
Yeah, well, he happened to have a stroke of good luck. But that fight, as I understand it, from what I've read, that fight took place on the edge of the precipice of just Obi-Wan Kenobi barely hanging on. He knew he couldn't outmatch Anakin. So he had to find an opportunity like the one he found, where he had the high ground, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because in straight dueling, no, Obi-Wan couldn't take Anakin, and he knew that. He could barely hang on.
I think you're right, and that goes back to SC-38. Why I don't think I think it was out of character for Obi-Wan to do the stabbing motion, because it was clear that he went onto the Death Star to sacrifice himself. I think he knew that ahead of time.
Yeah, I think he knew that. And I think he thought that was the only way, because Luke, in the situation they were in, he knew that when he went on to the Death Star that it was going to happen. He knew he was going to get found out. He knew Vader would find him. And he decided the only way to protect and to help Luke get to the point he needed to be was to become one with the Force. And
he also had to clear the way for Luke to get to the Falcon.
Yes.
True, yes. And I think it is a sacrifice in so many ways. But I think he saw if I do this, I think Yoda and Obi-Wan both had a very good sense of maybe not being able to foretell the future per se, but they saw the future much clearer. They saw the path that they had to try to direct things towards. And I think that was because both Obi-Wan and Yoda, of a lot of the Jedi, were more clear in thought. They took their time with their thought. And you hear it in the prequels with Obi-Wan telling Anakin, clear your mind, just relax.
They like to think that.
Yes. And I know it didn't always work for him.
Well, it did not always work for him. There was a bit of pious nature. Even Obi-Wan was very sort of stuck up and snobbish.
Like he was.
The attitude he had with Qui-Gon Jinn. And I'm not saying he wasn't a good man. He's honestly one of my favorite characters. But it's also pointed out rather blatantly to us that Obi-Wan gets a little bit of a cockiness on him himself, right? Like, even Yoda sort of in a way kind of backhands Obi-Wan. He's like, too sure of themselves they are. You know, like he's literally like there are several moments where it's made very clear to us that Obi-Wan is not a perfect being. And to expect him to always be clear-minded and in touch and in tune with coming from the Force is not fair, because they screwed up so bad.
But going with what we've said now in this video about the time that has elapsed between those moments and now, he's been sitting in a desert for.
But we don't have that canonically.
No, we don't. We don't. And this is a problem with the new movies too, is we don't know this stuff for sure. We don't know why they're doing stuff. Yes.
Let me read this from the chat. Patriarch of the Sith said, even the Jedi Sentinel fighting styles are more defensive than the Sith Marauder fighting styles. Obi-Wan fights more like a Jedi Knight, which is more defensive, which is even more defensive.
Yeah, but that doesn't answer the stabbing motion and stuff. Oh, I mean, and I understand what they're saying. But I think he's had all this time and he knows what's coming, and he knows that this is the way. He tries to get Luke to come with him to begin with. He says, "Come with me to Alderaan, and learn the ways of the Force." And of course, Luke is I want to stay home at the moment, and he says, "I can't do that." And then he says, "That's your uncle speaking." Anyways, I think there's talking. Yeah, that's your uncle talking. Let's go with the last question I'll bring to you. If not necessarily Disney redoes the trilogy, but let's say that they go back and add something else or clean up the special edition some more. Is this something that Disney should invest in adding into the movie? Proper.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna let Proper start.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Proper, what do you think?
I take it the answer of just no, don't do it is off the table.
No, it's whatever you want.
It's whatever you want. If you want to say no, don't do it. That's fine.
Oh no, I was just I'm talking about like no re-edits whatsoever. They'll screw it up. I don't trust them.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, like that. I was asking if that's not on the table, this will make a more interesting conversation.
Okay.
Because like obviously none of us. I mean, I don't speak for everyone, but I don't think that with the people who are in Lucasfilm right now, I don't want any alterations of previous films. Only George can do that. He can screw up his own stuff as much as he wants. I don't want anybody else doing it.
Okay,
that's that. But if we're under the circumstances where it's going to happen regardless, then perhaps a better lightsaber duel in 4 would be a good idea. Because because as far as I know, they wouldn't be changing the plot. They would just be changing some things that they would be either making additions to it or making alterations or CGI, but never adding scenes into it like they did with Han and Jabba the Hutt in the same movie.
Let's say that this is the only thing they add, and they have to keep it relatively the same. Let's say that they've sat down to a table and said, well, when we go back and we release this for the 50th anniversary or whatever down the line, they say, we're going to keep everything the way it is, and we're going to clean up the graphics. We're going to clean up the Han and Jabba, thank you. Jabba scene. We're going to clean all this stuff up, fine tune it, and then we're going to add this scene in.
Yeah, and I'm guessing, and hopefully they'll be smart enough to just only have Han shoot.
Oh, exactly. I wish they'd go back to that.
Yeah.
Okay. With this scene, if that were the only thing on the table to change,
like drastically,
yes, would you say that's what they should do, or would you say keep it the same?
If they don't speak. Maybe not even that.
But Proper, don't you think there's enough dialogue?
Yes.
Maybe where they could get some and piece it together for Obi-Wan. I mean, because we're talking Disney, somebody who has all of the resources ever invented.
It's such a tough question because I know they're gonna screw it up, but
because it's Disney.
Well, it's not because it's Disney. It's for me. It's because it's who's involved in Lucasfilm. But if we're just talking about just like a choreographed fight, if it does better than this, because also this is supposedly taking place in the same corridor, and it's just like one little loop that leads there. I don't know how they got in that hallway. That in the SC-38, like how did that happen? Were they like going like? Did they start over there and then they went all the way around and chasing each other? Like it's like
secret passage
or it or something like that. Like, I don't know what happened. How did they get there? But that being said, it seems like I'm dodging the question.
No, not really. I get what you're saying.
If they do it right, sure. because there's not really a lightsaber fight in 4.
Yeah.
Not a real one. I mean, it's probably the lamest lightsaber fight I've ever seen, besides anything in The Last Jedi. Last Jedi's worse. But in terms of lightsaber fights, like that one was objectively, it's kind of lame.
Yeah.
Especially after the last one that you saw was super epic. You know, and I understand limitations, but no excuses. No, but yeah, it was pretty lame. So why the hell not?
All right, Mary.
I guess.
Well, I think that barring the notion of, okay, taking off the table, like Papa said, the notion that Disney destroys everything they touch, and I don't really want Disney touching anything that I love in terms of Star Wars for at least as long as it takes them to get rid of people like Kathleen Kennedy. Setting that aside, if we're just talking about essentially doing this scene, just the scene, cleaning it up a bit, making it look better, right? Making it look more cinematic. I think I would not be opposed to having a version of the movie with this scene, provided it left intact other versions of the movie without it. The biggest problem I had with George Lucas putting all of his CGI vomit and everything Star Wars that I loved so much was because I didn't have an option.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find the original. I will have every copy and every version of Star Wars that there is possible to own if you'll make them all available. I'll own them all. Because truth is I love Star Wars and I would like to have all of it. So, with the exception of The Last Jedi, which I still don't own, and Solo I still don't own.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point,
I don't even own Rogue One. I don't blame you.
I don't own any of them.
Every Star Wars movie and multiple versions of every Star Wars movie that there is to own, with the exception of Solo and The Last Jedi. And so I think as long as you leave the original intact and you respect that, and you leave it in place and you make it possible for us to go and get what we originally fell in love with and then make a version of this as well, I think you leave the room for people. I think you leave the room people need to fall in love with this kind of stuff and make their own choices instead of feeling like you'll eat it and you'll like it. Leave a little room for people to make their own choices.
Yeah, exactly.
You feel like you have room to breathe.
I think you bring up a good point, though, that truthfully, the person to blame for most of this stuff, not necessarily what's happened to it now, but the person to blame for starting this evolution of what we get now is George Lucas. But he had the right to do it. It was his baby. And if you're going to take him for his word, this was his vision originally. And we know for sure that the Solo scene was there. We know for sure that was. So we know certain things like that. Now, the Han shooting for second thing, I think that was ridiculous that he did that. I don't buy for a second that was what he believed happened. I think he did that because somebody got a little too offended that this guy just blatantly kills Greedo.
Oh my God, I didn't think about that.
What?
Oh no, George, why?
What?
Why did you not think about that?
What?
Dude, this has been this way for years and years and years. Yeah.
I think that
I didn't take that into account of the context of everything else that's happened.
I think that Han, he said that he didn't want him to look like that it didn't help his journey, and I think it does. Greedo's going to kill him. That's going to happen. So of course he knows it, and he's not going to let it happen. So whatever.
Also that head jerk, just like it's like, yes, I'll bet you have. There's literally been like music videos that have just doing this. It looks like his head is not attached to the rest of his body.
It's gotten better because if you go back and look at the original edits of that, it is horrid.
You could put like disco Star Wars to that.
Okay, anyways.
No, the disco
Shaun,
one. Okay, yeah.
Shaun, add it or don't.
Okay, so they could add it, okay, but I think I would have to go with proper by, saying not to add any of the voices, even though they could probably recreate the voices, digitally. If they want to throw in grunts and other fighting noises, that's cool. Also, Disney would have the capability of recreating Alec Guinness for the entire thing via CGI, and I think it would look probably really well done. But the only way that I would be cool with this, and also leave, like you guys said, leave everything else in the movie intact, but restore it to the original. Restore everything to the original version. Let's not have the whole question of who shot first and whatnot. But my last thing is, if they do this and they release this, they need to also finally give the fans what they want by remastering the very original cut, because now they own Fox, and because Fox for the longest time they owned the original prints, and that's why you couldn't re-release the original, to my understanding. So remaster and re-release the film as it originally was done, and maybe have it, how Blu-rays are released, with sometimes 2 in a case widescreen, or Blu-ray and the DVD. Let one of the discs be the original cut, and the second disc be the special edition with the extended lightsaber fight. If they did that, I would be perfectly fine.
I think I agree with if Disney does anything else to these movies, I don't want them to redo these movies. I don't want them to change anything about these movies anymore. But if it was just this one scene in the special edition versions, I would definitely say go ahead and do it. If this was the only scene they added into it, I agree. You don't have to add the commentary. You can leave the commentary and cut to where they actually speak these lines, and use it as just extra fighting sequence in it. But I totally agree that if Disney is going to do anything before they do a re-release or a redo of these movies, the one thing they should do for the fans, at least as a peace offering, is say, we're going to completely clean up and re-release the original trilogy. That would be perfect.
And also, if they wanted to, because Marvel has proven that they can do pretty much anything with CGI and have it look pretty darn good, But so they hired Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan for the prequels because he had the same kind of facial structure. So if they wanted to have Ewan, like they wanted to put the dots on Ewan's face and have him stand in and actually do these fights, and then create the Alec Guinness face on
Alec McGuinness.
Alec McGuinness. Yes.
Alice Guinness. Alec McGuinness.
But if they wanted
improper,
I know. But if they wanted to have,
I'm clipping this, by the way.
If they wanted
I'm just saying, I'm gonna put this in a montage. I'm telling you right now.
That's cool.
Right now, I'm putting this in a montage of people screwing things up. Will be released this week. No joke.
Awesome.
I look forward to it. But if they wanted Ewan McGregor to stand in and just CGI the face, that would be fine too. That way, it's not all completely CGI.
Yeah. Yeah, and it would also make sense. But do you think if it's just having his body and not what you would like alter his face or something?
Yeah, because when they do stuff like
okay,
this, they put the the motion capture things on their face.
Okay, and you just make like
You
because
just changed the face
haven't
out.
you you've seen I'm guessing you've all seen like comparisons of like if you did like a little Photoshop of old Ewan McGregor and Alec Guinness, they kind of look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Have you seen this before?
Yeah, originally, like some years ago, and that's when I found out why they cast Ewan McGregor, is because his facial structure was very similar.
Mhm. You gonna screen share it?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna see if it's right one. I see one with Luke and Alec Guinness. No, there was one in particular. There's one in particular I'm looking up. Old Obi-Wan. Okay. Yeah, there's been a couple of them. I'm trying to see the one that. Yeah, this is it. I think it could be wrong. Now everyone's looking it up.
Huh.
You probably have it before I do. Like this one.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one
yeah.
you were thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't want to drag it anywhere.
Mhm.
But then there's like the side by side comparisons.
Mhm.
Although, yeah.
I'm still
Yeah.
hoping for an Obi-Wan movie. I am.
I've heard that that's going to be on Disney Plus. I hope. I hope.
I hope
not.
it isn't.
This one looks a little bad because it looks more like.
But I think they're just trying to put they're doing like what people do whenever they do facial reconstruction of skulls. That's kind of what they do. They superimpose it over that.
What the heck is this?
The heck?
No, no.
It's the Marauder. Huh.
What? Oh,
Oh, wow.
I see.
oh, that's kind of
actually-
cool.
That is cool.
Wait. Go back to that.
I'm still on it.
Stig says Guinness and McGregor stole his likeness.
Mhm.
I disagree.
Okay. So
Wow.
we're under.
Wow. That is super cool.
So see, Ewan
wow.
could do it.
Mhm.
Okay, that looks really stupid, but
That does, yes.
So
okay, I'm done.
we're under agreement that for the most part, we
Okay, yeah.
don't really think they should touch it because we don't trust Disney. Let's just say that we don't trust Disney to actually do just
Mhm.
one little tweak to this movie,
Not until they prove themselves.
which is likely they will never do that. Okay, so we're under agreement, and we all, on the plus side of things, say that this was a really good video. Let's give it an however many out of 10. What do you say, Mary? What out of 10?
Just the scene itself,
Yeah,
I would
just the scene.
say 8 out of 10.
Okay, proper.
A solid a 7. But
Okay.
Mary, it sounds like you were a lot more harsh on it than you were just like, oh my gosh, I love it, I love it, I love it. And then you say 8.
Yeah, and
Like,
it's a high
Well,
number.
I thought the way you were describing it sounded
It's a
like
high
it was.
number, genius.
I thought it was more like a 9 the way you were talking earlier.
Are you guys like in separate rooms? Are you guys secretly married and we just don't know about it?
No, not that I know of.
I'm under your bed, proper. Confident.
Oh man, them and Seth are
It's really funny under here.
You
Dude,
got a
I
lot
didn't
of
know
room.
there was a whole other room under my bed.
It's like
Like
the
little monster.
wardrobe of Narnia. It's the
It's
bed
just-
of proper.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. All right, but we're Shaun. What do you say? What out of 10?
Out of 10, I'd probably say 8.5.
I'd go a solid 8. I'd go your 8.5. I just think the 2 or 3 glaring things. It's like wow, and I don't discount the video for it. I understand that they probably didn't think of those things, and just some people get stickler about things, like I do sometimes. but I have nothing to say. I guess I don't get a true vote of anything Star Wars anymore because I like The Last Jedi.
Boo!
As everybody's like, yeah. Okay. So with that said, we are going to
Wait. Did Proper give his rating?
Yes, he did 7 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So really quick, what we're going to do is we're going to let all of you guys mention your channels again. And then I want you guys to stick around. I'll do a screen share and we're going to spin the wheel of names. And we're going to pick out who's going to be on the next episode of The Gospel According to
it?
Stig was on it.
Steven.
Oh, Steven. Yes, I did. I added Steven on it. But we will not be doing the Gospel According to Chris next week. I am actually going out of town, and I will have some video from Vegas for you guys. I'm going to be sending it to Shaun to I'm going to be sending it to Shaun to edit, so it could be interesting.
And then we're going out to LA in August. So
yeah. So
what are you going to be doing in Vegas?
I'm going to be doing some DJ work and some other fun stuff. So
that's code for hookers.
No, it isn't. No, there's nothing there that I would touch with it. Well, I wouldn't touch it with anything of yours for even. So, okay. So, let's do your guys' channel pimp out again. Speaking of prostitutes, Proper, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Proper Jeremy. It was Proper Jenny at one point, and it still is. But that is soon to change. Just had a Council of Jeremys with Josiah Rises, and Mary was on as well as Voluptuous Jeremy. And it was a lot of fun. I'm going to be highlighting a clip of that come this week. And also, I'm going to be including this video with I don't know what I'm going to call it, improper YouTubers, and just having a clip of people screwing things up. Because it's happened so many times, and I have playlists of them, and I think you all are going to like it.
Awesome. All right.
Just something for fun.
No, definitely. You got to have fun doing this. So, Mary, please, your channel.
All right. Well, before I plug my channel, I want to say hi, Tom. Tom's in the chat. Hello, Tom. Because I am Mary B. I am the mistress of Mayhem, disruptor of the narrative, and official women card holder. You can find me over on my channel, Mary Mayhem. I'm super easy to find. It's pretty easy. Just make sure you spell Mary like Christmas, Merry.
Aha, yes. And last but not least, Shaun Stackhouse, please pimp your channel. He's the other half of the Real Review 3000, if you didn't know. And we're going to be having him on these things a lot more because of that. But Shaun, go right ahead.
Yes, I do all the grunt work for.
You don't do all
the grunt work.
I do some of it. I edit my videos sometimes. I do my
because I showed you how.
No, I got to do it because I finally got stuff set up.
Are you two secretly married?
Right?
No, we're more like brothers, and that's why we fight like that.
Brothers
I'm older.
alone.
I'm smarter.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, but anyway, ignore everything the man with the Star Wars picture behind him says. Yeah, I am Shaun Stackhouse. I have Shaun Stackhouse Reacts, and I do a lot of pop culture stuff and a lot of Queen stuff. That seems to be what people want, and I just do whatever I see fit. I've been ignoring that channel quite a bit because I've been putting a lot of work into Real Review 3000 because this is the channel that we really want to get up and going. But please subscribe to both channels. I think we will both have content that will thoroughly enjoy anyone.
Thoroughly enjoy, or that people will thoroughly enjoy.
No, the content will thoroughly enjoy anyone.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah. Uh-huh. With that said, just so you guys know, we're only about 500 watch minutes away from the monetization value that we need to have. Yet we are about 848 subs away from that. So please,
how did that happen?
I don't know. And I
wait, you're only 800 watch hours away?
No,
we're 500.
Less than 500.
Oh,
but we're 800 subs.
Wow.
Away.
Yeah, we're 800 subs away, and I don't know how that happened.
People like watching your videos.
I guess so.
They just don't sub.
Yeah. So if you know people who like what
No. It seems like the people who are subbed watch your videos
well, that's good.
Oh, so you're saying they're
religiously.
But
rewatching audio.
I want more people to come in on this. I would like to be monetized, but we need subs. So if you guys know somebody that might like our stuff, please go out and tell them about us and have them come over to the channel and sub us. But with that said, I want to thank you guys very much for coming on. And before I forget again, we're going to go to the screen share. If I can do this, we're going to go here and we're going to share this. This is the wheel of names that I've been talking about.
Don't forget to present yourself, sugar.
Oh, yes. There we go. I got it. Okay, here we go.
Present yourself doesn't mean present yourself.
I didn't do that. I learned from the last time.
Ruthie, Lee, Miss Angus, Stig, Shaun.
You can take me off the wheel, man.
Shaun, Mara, Mary. She's already here.
Yes, she is, but she's just been a special guest. There's going to be some time when I get her on here alone.
What?
Oh, I wasn't on here alone.
Yeah. What? Oh no, you were. It picked you last 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, this is your time. Probably.
Yeah,
I was meant to be here to like put a buffer between you and the audience.
What?
But no.
Are you serious?
So, no.
No.
So when it picks the name, that name goes off the wheel. That's how it works. So your name was picked 2 weeks ago. And like, for instance, Miss and Lee, I don't know why I put them back on there. They've been on, so we need to do that. But this is what we've got, people. So I click this button right here, and the wheel of names spins away, and it will pick the next person. And it is Stig! All right, so
Congratulations, Stig.
Stig, you will be the next contestant on The Gospel According to Chris, where we will then have a subject and all that. It will be in approximately 2 weeks, just so you know. So that will be, if I can see now that I've looked up in my lights and I'm blinded. Let's see here. That will be for the 17th of June, and I will get with Stig on that, and we'll have a idea of what we're going to talk about probably in the next week or so. So guys, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it. Everybody who was watching, thank you very much. Remember to go catch some people out there, tell them to come check our channel out, and hopefully they'll sub. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day, and everybody say bye to everybody else.
Merry Christmas.
Bye to everyone else.